Analyzing all aspects of social rights under the guidance of well-known Professor Radska Mochnik, our group identified many reasons of this problem. Why exactly in 21st century, across the Europe and even across the world, we have so many discriminations of our rights? And in our opinion, one of the solutions which can prevent all this discrimination, it must be, first of all, informing our society with accent on a young generation. As bright representatives of many European countries, our student societies must create successful non-profit club organizations which can inform and be able to resolve any problems for any citizen of country. So I hope that our meeting will help to achieve this goal, and I would like to say thank you to anybody that come for this meeting, and our organization and our professors, so they got a chance to help us to deep our point of views and to put all our efforts in the right area. Thank you.
Go directly to the next workshop, which is Professor Barbara Dugan with Gender Studies, History and Perception of the Body.
So, thank you very much. We were 9 participants, all women from Romania, Slovenia, Lithuania, and Bulgaria, and myself coming from Germany. I'm a historian of contemporary culture, and have been interested, and I thought it would be useful to bring one specific topic or one specific question to this 3 days conversation. Before I say something about that, I want to really thank the organizers, because in my long academic life and lots of experience also in teaching, it is extremely rare and very precious that you have 3 days of conversation that are not set within a goal that's already institutionally pre-described, and also that is academically disciplined without enforcing these types of status presentation and so on that usually overshadow academic meetings. And I think the people who gave the money did very well. In our 3 days conversation was extremely fruitful, even though we had a difficult topic, because we were talking about the destiny of the contemporary destiny of the woman's body. And we started, and this of course involves always reconsideration about who you are yourself, and in a most intimate way that's not so easy to talk about, while at the same time we aimed at rigid social analysis. The problem that we tried to analyze was what you could call the professional intrusion into personal deliberation. What do I mean by this? The feminist movement in the 1970s were fighting medicine as an authoritative institution that would patriarchally dictate what women should do, how their bodies are functioning, and so on. And we were then claiming the right for information and the possibility for ourselves to have a decision about our bodies and controls and so on. 20 years later, we can see that the whole social system has changed, in as much as I take the medical system, that the medical system in itself has changed. It's the relationship towards the patient, because today the patient, it's not that the physician foists some opinion or some medicine on the patient, but the patient in fact transforms in an informed decision maker about what she wants to have done to herself. And within this frame, we see that administrative statistical logic has been moving into medicine, so that we analyzed particular situations. I will give you an example. Say the example of a woman who is pregnant in her 5th month of pregnancy. She wanted this child, and then in the counseling session, she is forced to take a stance where no one can stand, because she has to balance the statistical probabilities of 2 risks that she is facing. And we have been analyzing how risk thinking, which originally is a logic of insurance, it's an institutional logic to think about probabilities, how this becomes, how this enters into the personal deliberation and the autoception, the self-perception of women. And we were interested in this because we perceive that a new logic, and that is the command for self-management, the managing of yourself and the managing of your life course, is entering into under the skin, you could say. And we were convinced that economic logics and the personal stance to yourself, where you stand, are something that should be strictly kept separate. So what we analyzed, we could also say in a more general way, is what within the school of Foucault and governmentality studies is called regulated, and the paradoxes of regulated autonomy, informed self-determination, and informed decision-making, inasmuch as we stand in front of a situation in which on the one side women are empowered to make a decision, on the other side the enforcement of decision-making within options and the explosions of options that also in a very subtle way shape the wanting and wishes, very personal wanting and wishes, according to the options that the system presents, that we analyzed this. So we moved, or that conversation span delicate personal experiences on the one side, very personal talk also on the other side, an analysis that was following on Foucault and the governmentality studies that say that the relationship between institutions and people have changed, inasmuch as the former regime of a disciplinary power today comes as liberating the frame within individuals should think about themselves. And in this way, and therefore we moved in all these, or we discussed these also painful paradoxes of aims that we had, in my generation, had 20 years ago, and that today we face in the full in the paradox in which actually we are being brought to choose that is most system compatible, but not very beautiful for the individual. Thank you.
So, as a practicing lawyer, perhaps I have to say something on your question. And the simple answer is that there is no right to future, and thanks God that there is no such right. And I will explain myself with one theory of law that I just came up with. And it is that the law basically has the function to solve some problems